me. I really, really appreciate your time today. We're going to go over some really cool LinkedIn strategies and how to use LinkedIn, how to be functional on LinkedIn in the first place. And I try to kind of cover all usage areas. So if you're new to LinkedIn, you're going to get a lot of information, but if you are a regular user of LinkedIn, you might learn a thing or two as well. And I welcome any questions or anything. Post those in the Q&A, and then hopefully we'll have time left over at the end where I can answer them, and Leslie can help me out with those. So let's do this. I'm going to jump to share screen, and this looks like it's it. Okay. So this is my I don't use a PowerPoint for this presentation. I'm just going through my own LinkedIn here, so you get to see the whole thing here from my perspective. Let's see, let me get rid of my little talk boxes here. All right, so when you're on LinkedIn, they basically give you two different pieces of real estate. The first obviously is your profile that most people are familiar with. And then the second is your homepage. Now, this is my homepage. You can see I'm logged in here. You see your little profile picture here under me or above me, and that's how you know where that is. But your homepage is pretty much, it's the description. It's not a great description, but it's the description that everyone understands. This is kind of like your Facebook page for LinkedIn. So when your connections post anything, when there's any big news that kind of will get in your own algorithm, meaning because your connections, etc., this is where you see little notices about your profile, and then different articles and things of your areas of interest or by your connections. Okay, so the homepage really is great for sharing information, industry-specific information, things like that. I usually try to take a look at my homepage at least every other day. I try to look at it every day. But every time I flip through here, I'm going to get something valuable. I'm going to get something that I can use in a future, near future professional conversation. And then, different, like congratulate so-and-so on a new job, etc. So this is where you can kind of keep up with people that are in your network. And then to go to your profile, and by the way, on LinkedIn, there are always about 5 different ways to do everything. And so I have my preferred ways of doing things, but you may find something that works better for you. No problem, because as long as you get to where you're going on LinkedIn, then who cares how you got there. So I want to get over to my profile, and the way that I do that, I'm always going to click on this little arrow under my thumbnail picture here, and I go to view profile. All right, so oh yeah, this is so LinkedIn just changed their generic background pictures to this like kind of calm and soothing, neutral, very neutral color black tones. I guess they got rid of the constellation, the teal constellation. I was never a fan of that. So hopefully this one is a little bit better. But that's for people, you're going to see those for people who haven't updated their actual background photo. All right, so now you're looking at my profile here. And the first thing I want to do is actually go back to this one. And I'm going to show you, just taking a quick look at what, what I'm seeing here on my profile. I want to show you some of the privacy settings that that should be taken care of every once in a while. So let's go to settings and privacy. Come on, LinkedIn. All right, I'm dealing with slow internet today, and I'm so sorry about that. Let's see. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so now that everyone's back home again and the whole neighborhood's using internet, so everything's a little slow. So this is what your settings, your dashboard looks like, kind of behind the scenes. So I'll just go through a couple of these really quickly. Going up to the top here, account preferences. If you want to update any of your profile information and all that, this is where you can do it. If you want videos to autoplay, I always have that on no because I think that's really annoying. But you can, I'm not going to go through all of these because a lot of them are just kind of one and done. You know, I set things on here, and quite frankly, there's a lot on here that I haven't looked at in a number of years because I don't need to change anything. But there are a couple things that I do want you to see on here. So we're going to go to sign in and security. Okay, so under sign-in and security, and then account access, this is something that everyone should take a look at every once in a while, especially if you are working from an office or going to different locations where you might be accessing LinkedIn. So under account access, you're going to look here where you're signed in. Fortunately, if you look over here, I only have 2 active sessions, and I happen to know that that is number 1, my laptop, and then number 2, my cell phone. So I'm not worried about that. The first time that I actually saw this, I just kind of stumbled on this on my own. This was, oh gosh, probably about 8 years or so ago. Just happened to see that, and I had 29 active sessions going on. And it's because I would teach LinkedIn classes all around the Chicagoland area. So I was signed in to 29 different sessions. A little bit of a freak out moment, but you know what? Then I realized, well, okay, no one's probably accessing it, and they still would have to know to get in. And I don't have any personal information. I don't have a credit card on file with LinkedIn. I don't have my social security number, my home address, anything like that. So it was one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm going to know to take care of this. I'm not going to be signed in everywhere in the world anymore. But if I forget once in a while, it's not actually a huge data breach. But again, just something to keep an eye on. Let's see. And then, all right, so going back to visibility, I think that this one, um, people ask me why people choose, to completely block their LinkedIn profile. You won't be able to see a person's name or their photo or anything. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know. Even if someone's got like a paranoid boss, it's okay to be on LinkedIn. So I always just have all my stuff open. So if you're 3rd degree from me, you're still probably going to see as much as LinkedIn will let you see. I haven't closed any of that information down. To me, that's just the experience of being on LinkedIn. All right, so from there, that's about, and like I said, go through all the rest of this. You're not going to break LinkedIn. So you can go through and play around with the settings, get the ones that are most comfortable for you. But we don't have to go through these one by one. And so then what we want to do is, let's see. Next, okay, so we're going to go back to LinkedIn, and I'll show you, now we're going to start showing you how to kind of make some updates and do some editing, which you can do actually from the dashboard where I just was, or you can do it directly from your profile. So that way, I'm going to show you how to do it directly from your profile at this point. So as soon as LinkedIn decides to behave here and pull up, I'll show you how I do that. Excuse me. Okay.
But your video keeps stalling, so I don't know if it'd be better if you just turned it off. That's totally up to you. We can hear you. You keep stopping in one position. I
am sorry. Now, if I turn it off, can you see my screen or no?
Yeah, you can turn off the video and still share your screen.
Then that's exactly what I will do. Great. Okay, you can still see my screen?
That looks good.
Perfect. I love that. Thank you for telling. See, I learn something new every day. All right, so from here, oops, want to get back to my profile. And yeah, I'm not surprised to know that it was, kind of stalling and everything, because like I said, today, for whatever reason, Wi-Fi is just really not great. So the first thing that I want to show you how to do is to update your URL, okay? A couple different ways that we can do that, and this is the simplest. Most people should have this option right here, edit public profile and URL. So if you click on this, this is old LinkedIn, by the way. This is one of the first versions of LinkedIn. It looked a little bit different. They keep updating it, but Okay, so from here, what you would do is click this little pencil. Anytime you see a pencil, that means that you're able to edit that section. Um, and this is about where I stop because I never want to want to lose um, my claimed URL here, but you would click this and then just try out a couple of different URLs. Now, obviously the best is first name, last name. However, there are millions and millions and millions of users on LinkedIn. So if your name is John Smith, you are not getting your first and last name. You're going to have to be a lot more creative. So now they allow, I believe they allow some underscores, so that might be another way to get first and last. You can do last and first. What I don't recommend doing is putting letters after that, because quite frankly it looks like it wasn't updated. So you want to try to do something that is actually going to show that this has been updated by you. LinkedIn, if you go through, LinkedIn will actually give you a couple of suggestions, but I got to be honest with you, I don't think their suggestions are all that great, because again, those suggestions do include some random letters and numbers, and then it just doesn't look like you made any change to it. So play around with that and try to find something that works for you. Now, I know that LinkedIn previously, years and years, about like 10 years ago, what they didn't allow for people to do is use designations after their name. So like if you're a CPA, you're not going, if I were a CPA, I wouldn't be able to do Lauren Milligan CPA. Now, I don't know, maybe they've lightened up on that. I haven't read that they have, but I keep seeing different URLs. It's like, oh wow, wait, I didn't think you could do that. So I think LinkedIn has had to lighten up a little bit on their restrictions and what people can put, because there are so many users and all of the all of the choices are being gobbled up. But that's the very first thing you is personalize your URL so that it actually is representative of your name. That's important, because it's actually showing other people, namely employers and recruiters, that you know what you're doing. That's kind of the first glance of, yeah, this person's been on LinkedIn more than a minute, when you've got an updated URL. All right, so from there, let's see. Let's go back. We'll get out of edit mode here and go back to mine. Okay, so from here, you want to add two pictures. You want to have your profile picture and you want to have a background photo. Like I said, right now, I think I'm not sure if all of the constellation backgrounds are gone or not. But I've seen a lot of these like color block neutral colors. So I don't know if that's like the new thing for 2020, or I think maybe they're just trying to keep everyone calm with nice bland colors. But I'm not a fan of them. So find something, find something for your background photo that that represents your industry, or you. This is just kind of a funny thing that happened when my company name was actually featured on Comedy Central one night, and I was able to capture a screenshot. So this is actually real. It's not photoshopped or anything. But if you want to find some interesting background photos, there are libraries out there. Look up anything. So I'm just going to go to a regular Google page, and I'll do LinkedIn background photo. Let's say accountant again. So let's say I'm an accountant. Oh, it'd be nice if I could type. All right, so, and then look at this. There are tons and tons of pre-made photos that you can pick. So there might be something that you like from there. So we would click on images. And the thing that I like most about these pre-made photos is that they're all the right size. When you do get my handout, you'll see that I have updated all the sections for anytime you can put in a photo, what is the pixel size. So for the background photos, it's 1400 by 425. Well, all of these are going to fit that. If you're creating your own photo, you just want to make sure to put it into a program where you can adjust the size accordingly. So 1400 by 425 for the background. So let's say you decided to choose that one. You would just click on it, save it to your computer, and then it's extremely easy to upload. Just have to click here, and then it allows you to upload a different photo. I'm going to keep this one here, but now the nice thing too is that LinkedIn kind of acts like your phone, where it gives you a couple different filters and ways to adjust and things like that. And likewise with your profile picture. Now, um, profile pictures are so important. They really are. And it's kind of interesting. As a resume writer, I always kind of wrestle with the fact that we can't put photos on resumes, and that makes sense for 1,000 different reasons. However, it's odd, even a little untrustworthy if you don't have a photo on your LinkedIn profile. So it's one of those things. It's just, it's one of life's conflicts, but it is what it is. So you want to have a background photo. Now, I have a lot of clients who say, okay, so how do I know what type of photo? Can you look at these for me and pick out the best one? I'm going to give you two things to keep in mind when you are choosing a profile photo for your LinkedIn profile. People really respond well to photos of people who look like they're smart enough to do the job, but they also look friendly enough to be a good coworker. So you want to look smart and friendly. If you can pull, and hopefully I've done that in my own, but if you can pull off smart and friendly, I think that you've got a winning photo. So those are the two adjectives that I want you to keep in your mind as you're picking some photos. And you know what? You don't have to go to a professional a professional photographer. A lot of the photos that I see that are really, really good are actually, selfies or taken with cell phones by another person. I have a number of photos out there that I've taken of people at my classes. Will find an interesting background and, snap it and then make it the right size and everything and put it on. So this doesn't need to be, an expensive pursuit, to get a good photo. Here's the only thing though, if you are going to take a selfie, try not, if you only take a selfie if there just like absolutely is no one around you. Um, if you are going to take a selfie, make sure not to include selfie shoulder. I call selfie and that's like when people are taking their selfies and they've got their phone like this and their shoulder like gets in the way of their face. So if you are going to take a selfie, for Pete's sake, drop your shoulder. No selfie shoulder. All right. Now, that's a little bit about photos, and don't have to talk much more than that because it's pretty obvious. Excuse me. Now, just continuing down, the next thing that you want, all right. So the next thing that you want to take care of is your headline. Now, you can see mine here, and I actually have a number of them, and I change them out depending on what's going on or who I'm trying to promote Resume Day to, whatever it is. But for the one I'm using now, and I've been using this one for a while, resume writer, career coach, outplacement expert, navigating job seekers through today's digital ATS-driven job search. This headline was written specifically to include some of the most important keywords that people use when they're trying to find people like me, when they're trying to find a career coach or a resume writer, or if they know that their resume is having problems getting through the ATS. So I actually wrote this very, very intentionally. Have fun. You can have a little bit of fun or have some creativity with your headline, because this really serves as your introduction. Now, if you're changing this on your laptop, on an actual computer, I believe you get 120 characters, but I've heard recently that if you use your mobile app, you get a few more characters. Not sure how many, and I gotta be honest with you, I rarely go on my phone for LinkedIn. So, but it's something to kind of test out a little bit. I'm happy with the length of my headlines, so if what I would do that, but I'm happy with where it's at right now. So, but you want to this is where you have to start thinking, why am I on LinkedIn? Hopefully for a better reason than because Lauren told me I have to be. But think about who you're trying to attract. Who is it that you're trying to catch the eye of? Is it a future employer? Is it customers for your business? Is it for freelance? So I'm a business owner. I'm going to, and I'm not a job seeker, so I am purposefully going to write my profile and my headline to attract the clients who I want, that I want to connect with. So that's why I did that. So start thinking about that. What is your purpose for being on LinkedIn? And think about them. How are they trying to find people like you? Okay, that's where you start your messaging. Whether it's, like I said, employer, clients, business partners, investors, whatever it is, who are they and how are they going to be trying to find people like you? All right. Now, scrolling down. At this point, and even before, before you pick your headline, because I mentioned them, find your keywords. Okay, find your keywords. So whatever it is, so when I was writing my profile, I made sure that I had a really good list, an abundant list of keywords relating to career coaching and employment and resume writing, interviewing skills, networking, salary negotiations, all of that kind of thing. I made sure that I had my list because I wrote my headline around the keywords. Likewise, the about section, the career portion, I'm writing all of that around my keywords. Okay. If you've attended any of my resume presentations, you heard me say just about the same thing. Find your keywords first, then create the resume around your keywords rather than later on having to clumsily fit a bunch of keywords in there when the sentences weren't necessarily written to accommodate them. So you find your keywords first, create the content around that. Same thing with LinkedIn here. All right, so let's see. Then this is where you're going to go to the about section. Oh, really quickly. LinkedIn measures this a lot. They really measure how people are using LinkedIn, what sections they're using, and not only just like me on my own profile, but me when I'm looking at someone else's profile. So how am I spending the most time on other people's profiles? They measure a lot of this in different market research groups and such. So what they realized is that when someone's coming to your profile, the sections that get the most and longest views are number one, this portion with the photos and the headline, and then the about section. It's not the education, it's not the career history, it's not the skills and endorsements, it's not those other sections, and again, not even the career section. And that's what most everybody thinks, right? Keep in mind, LinkedIn, albeit professional, it is social media. And so you can't lose that social aspect of it. Okay. So, and this really comes into play when you're creating this about section. Now, in the about section, you've got 2,000 characters, and that's a good amount of space. You can create a lot of content, 1,000 characters. So when you get the handout, you'll see I've given you some thinking points. In order to create an interesting, engaging, and social summary section or about section. It was called summary for years and years, and I think just last year, in 2019, I think they changed it to about. And when you are writing your about section, so again, you want to use a little bit more of a conversational tone because it is social. You also want to use first person. I don't know about anyone who's watching this, but I personally get a little wigged out when I see LinkedIn profiles written in third person because you are supposed to own your own LinkedIn profile. So even when I'm writing someone else's profile, I'm going to write it in first person, really trying to tap into their voice. Okay. So again, think about it, conversational tone, first person, it's social media. And again, thinking about those people that you want to attract, that you want to engage with your profile. What are they hoping to see? What are they going to be looking for? What's going to keep them at your profile instead of saying, I don't think this is the right person, I'm going to go check out someone else. Okay, so think in terms of what those people are coming to your profile for and try to feed that into the content that you write. So a couple of thinking points here that's going to give you a couple of ideas. What are the benefits of working with you? Okay, so based on the services that you provide, what are the actual, how will someone benefit if they work with you instead of someone else? Uh, what's a major accomplishment? What's a major achievement that's going to be kind of interesting and kind of a signature accomplishment that is rather standout for you, that would be a good conversation starter? What parts of your work provide you with energy and joy? When we're talking about our work or any facet of our life that gives us energy and joy, we kind of come to life. We use more genuine words, and even if we're writing it, it's just a little bit more genuine, and people will be attracted to and drawn to that message. Let's see, things that you do differently or better than most people, other validations and awards. um, and then I'll also include some human elements, and what I mean by that is a couple of life lessons or so, or things that you uh, a little bit of your own perspective, okay, that's going to let people get to know the person, not just the profile, not just the resume. Okay, for example, oh, and I've got a good example for this. One thing that I ask people when I'm writing their profile, what's the best team you've ever been on? Now, I think it's a great question because it really makes people think in some new areas about, and that it could be anything. It could be career, it could be a volunteer, it could be a sports team, it could be something that happened in grade school. So here's a great example for you. A client a couple of years ago, she was a very high level university administrator. I always get a little misty whenever I tell this story, so I have a little Kleenex ready. She's a very high level administrator, and I asked her, what was the best team that you've ever worked on? And I had some assumptions. I was thinking maybe she'd talk about a teacher, a group of teachers or other administrators or something. And she thought for a little bit, and she said, well, it's not professional. It was something in my personal life. Is that okay? And I said, absolutely. And she said, well, it was the summer before my son was going off to college. He came home, and both of them were runners. And she said he came home with this flyer for, it was an obstacle course. It was a partner obstacle course, and the partners would be tied together at the ankles. Okay, so one of those things where chances are people are going to fall and everything. But it was pretty difficult. So it was for athletes. It was for athletic people. And she just thought it was fantastic that the summer before her son went off to college, he actually wanted to spend time with mom. So of course she jumped at the chance to do it. And so they had been rehearsing and everything, went out and worked out and everything together, trained for it. And so the day of the race, they're going and they're doing really well. She said they were like neck and neck with another couple. And kind of towards the end of it, getting towards the end, still neck and neck, and this other couple falls. And people have been falling throughout the whole thing because that was kind of the that was kind of the idea of it. And they looked back, and it looked like one of the people in the group was actually kind of hurt. And so the mom said, oh, we got this, let's go win. And her son was this is where I start getting misty. Her son said, no, mom, come on, someone's hurt, let's go help them. And so the two of them picked up the other couple, and they all crossed the finish line. Oh, isn't that adorable? But she said, and that's when I knew I was putting a great person out there into the world. Oh, I love it. And here I go. But you know what? I managed to put that into her profile a little bit, and it's this fantastic story. It wasn't that long because I could use all 2,000 characters on on just the first portion of it. But she said since then, everybody who's looked at her profile has either sent her a note or wanted to talk to her about this awesome experience that she had with her son. And it was such a human moment. So that's my challenge to you. Think about that. What kind, how can you you round this out with those human elements that people are going to be drawn to, and they want to have these conversations with you. And I think that's really, that really is kind of what LinkedIn is about. If it was just for your resume, well, you might as well just be on, Indeed or Career Builder. But we can do more with this. We can do more with this space that LinkedIn gives us. Okay, so again, that's my challenge to you. Oh, I just couldn't love that story more. But you'll get a whole list of them. What did you learn from your very first job? What's the most counterintuitive thing you've learned so far in life? Um, there are a couple different thinking elements that's hopefully going to help you round out your story. And then all the other sections, fill them in, but not to be a carbon copy of your resume. And we'll go back into uploading media and such too. But in the experience section, I kind of follow the same suit. Now you can do a bulleted list, take it right from your resume. Of course you can do that. But again, I think that there's a better way to really optimize this space that LinkedIn gives us. Okay. And so I prefer a little bit of storytelling. Getting people to kind of picture me at work writing a resume, or me in front of a group talking about resume strategies, or teaching classes, whatever it is. If you can actually use your words to get people to create pictures in their head of you at work, then you've got their interest. You've got their interest. And again, that's what LinkedIn is about. So I don't use bulleted lists in my own profile. Like I said, I use a little bit of storytelling. And the really interesting thing is, every once in a while, when I'm writing someone's resume, we'll have so much information that I'll actually have to make some tough decisions about what to cut from the resume. Well, guess what? We can round out the LinkedIn profile with those additional things that didn't make it. Really, you don't want your LinkedIn profile to be a carbon copy of your resume. Now, here's why. Again, as I've been saying, people engage with your resume differently than they do with your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so the resume is supposed to be a snapshot view, quick snapshot view of your best stuff, your highest level, most marketable skills and accomplishments. LinkedIn, people are going to linger a little bit. They're going to read some things. They're actually going to read full sentences, which we all know doesn't happen with a resume. So utilize that. Knowing how people are going to engage with your profile, you can use that to your advantage with a little bit of storytelling. And that's exactly what I do here. Now, the other reason not to make your LinkedIn profile a carbon copy of your resume is that you can actually upload your resume. And there's no point of doing that if it's going to be the exact same content. So and here's how you do that. In any section, if you want to upload it into your About section, let me scroll up, then you would click the pencil. Actually, I'm going to scroll back down to my career experience, and I'm going to click on the pencil here. And then that brings up the edit, and I can change. These are all the things that I can change in there. And if you scroll down, media, you can see you can actually upload documents, PDFs, videos, or you can link to things. So you can upload your resume that way. As you can see from my profile, I have a couple of videos from news presentations that I've done. Let's see, I don't want to do more in that right now. And then you can see in my About page, I believe. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so one of the white papers that I have is tips on job searching during the holidays. So I've uploaded it here. again, just really super simple. You're just going to click and it allows you to go into your directory and upload any document that you want to. But when I do, let's see. There we go. If you click on it, there you go. It brings it up as a document that anyone can read, and then when they're done reading, they just have to click off of it, and there you go. Oh boy, look at that. All right, so let's see. All right, so that is that section. Now, let's talk a little bit about endorsements. So the average number of endorsements on a profile, and it's average, so if you don't have quite that many, it's okay, but the average number of endorsements on a profile is 8. Okay, so, oh, and here's another document that I've uploaded. So try to try to get as many recommendations as you can from current supervisors, former coworkers. Um, the best way, in my mind, to get a recommendation is to give one first. So if you write one for a supervisor or a coworker, it's going to get sent to them. And then it'll say, do you want to upload profile? And if they say yes, then it will. And then the system prompts them to write one for you. I think it says something like, do you want to return the favor or something like that? So the system actually prompts it. So like I said, the best way to get a recommendation is to give one first to someone else, and then hopefully they'll be wise enough to actually reciprocate in kind. But I think recommendations are great, and the more thoughtful you are when writing them, hopefully the more thoughtful others will be of writing them for you. I don't, recommendations that are just written as, oh, Sharon's a really, really great person. I really liked working with her. Well, that's not going to go too far. Um, so when you write a recommendation, try to be uh, add some details, add some specific details about what this person does really, really well. What's something stand out about this person? What type of problems is this person really good at solving? Or what type of unique resources does this person make available to coworkers, whatever it is. But just try to be as detailed and complimentary but unique as possible, and then hopefully you'll get those same type of recommendations back from you. Now that brings up this next section, skills and endorsements. Boy, I'm not a big, huge fan of the endorsement section. Basically, it's kind of like getting back to Facebook. It's the equivalent of a like, So great, more than 99 people have endorsed me for resume writing. Well, that's very nice, and I appreciate that. But I got to be honest with you, I would rather have a couple of, I'd rather have testimonials. I'd rather have recommendations. Ever since and this has been proven every single year, since LinkedIn added the endorsement section, the number of testimonials that are just naturally written for people have gone down. So unfortunately, that's one of those things where people kind of get lazy. If they can just click on a skill, they will do that instead of writing out a testimonial. So I'm kind of one of the LinkedIn old school people who still tries to get people to write testimonials, because I do think that there's some good currency in that. But here is a great way to use this skills and endorsement section. Essentially, these are your keywords, okay? They're your keywords. And so if you ever get a little tripped up while you're trying to think, okay, so what are my keywords? Of course, you can go to keyword catalogs online and bunch of different ways to find keywords, but you could also do a search for people who have the same type of job as you and look at their skills and endorsements section, because they're basically creating their own list of keywords that you can do a double check. Okay, just go through and say, oh, looks like we're matching pretty good with this one. And do it a couple different times. As a resume writer, I use this a lot. It's public information, so it's not like you're, cheating off of a test or anything like that. So it's all public. And quite frankly, I'm sure that other people have done the same thing with my profile, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it. So if you do get a little stuck, staying in the LinkedIn realm, you don't even have to go outside of LinkedIn to find a great list of keywords. Okay. Every time I recommend this to someone, well, I should say every once in a while when I recommend this to someone, I'll get that person who says, oh gosh, I don't want to click on someone's profile because then they'll wonder why I was there. And well, that could be true. I'm clicking on people's profiles all the time, and every once in a while I will get a message from someone that says, hi, I noticed that you were looking at my profile. Is there something I can help you with? So here's my super secret way to get out of that, and in kind of a non-clumsy way, here's what I do. And yes, I'm admitting to this. So whenever I get a message, that says, I saw you looking at my profile, can I help you with something? I'll respond to them saying, oh, you know what? I was looking for someone with the same name as you. And I clicked on your profile instead of theirs and saw that it wasn't the person I was looking for. Great profile picture. Hope you're having a great day. Bye. That's it. It's the equivalent of a wrong number on the phone. So don't get freaked out by looking at other people's profiles. It's totally fine. And if you're called out for it, just tell them you were looking for someone else with a similar name. That's all. Easy breezy, right? Okay, so let's see. So we talked about multimedia and we talked about recommendations. Now I want to go through all right, so I want to go through connections to explain first, second, and third degree connections. I think most everyone possibly has a handle on this, but if you are new to LinkedIn, then it's, this is kind of new information. So first degree connections are people that you are directly connected to. So for example, Leslie, who's running the library, or running this for the library, Leslie and I are connected on LinkedIn. Therefore, we are first degree connections. Now, I am also connected to my husband, but I don't think that Leslie is connected to my husband. Therefore, Leslie and my husband are second degree connections because I'm the person in the middle there. And then beyond that, third degree is just anybody who you don't have any similar connections with. Okay, so that's kind of the hopscotch there with first, second, and third degree connections. And the more you use LinkedIn, the more that'll become really, really easy, and you won't have to think about it at all. So I want to show you how to use the search feature. And it's not necessarily new, but I'm not sure if everyone knows about this feature or not. So when you are doing a search for people on LinkedIn, actually, let me take 1 minute to explain one thing before we actually do this. So you want to be two things on LinkedIn. You want your profile to be both searchable and findable, okay? And those are two very different things. So searchable, what does searchable mean? If someone is looking for a resume writer, possibly in the Chicago area, I want them to click on me, right? I want them to search for that person, and I want to be one of the ones that come up first. So if someone does a search for resume writer, Chicago area, no other search criteria, hopefully they're going to see my profile. If they do, that means that I'm searchable. They were searching for this and up I came. Findable is if someone is specifically looking for Lauren Milligan, who works at Resume Day or the White Hawk Group or College of DuPage, and they put that in, I better come up. Okay. And if I do, that means that I'm findable. The only way that you wouldn't be findable if you have a profile on LinkedIn is if you didn't fill in everything. If you didn't put all of your employers going back to a certain date, or if you have, well, if you have it private, or if I only used L Milligan instead of Lauren Milligan. So you want to be both searchable and findable. And again, you do that with by having a complete profile. Okay. Um, so based on that, let me go through some of the search features here. So actually, and I want to get out of, okay, so I want to show you what I did here. All I'm going to do is click my mouse into the search, and here comes some recent searches. Let's clear that out. Yeah, I can clear my search history. Why not? Since everyone's looking at it now. All right, so I'm going to click my mouse in there, and I'm going to hit enter. I'm not putting anything in that search box for right now, and this pulls up the whole search page from LinkedIn. All right, so let's take a quick look at what we can do here. People, jobs, content, a couple other things, and then these are some of the search filters that we can put in. So let's go to all filters. All right, so we'll click there. Now, if I want to find degree project managers, so people I know I'm directly connected to who are project managers in Chicago, I would click first degree. And because they're first degree, I don't have to put connections of, because they're directly connected to me. Chicago, greater Chicago area. And then scroll, title, project manager, and it will pull up anybody that I know. This is, the search is pretty good. They took away, they used to have keyword searches, which was really great, because if you just remembered one unique word from someone's profile, you could put that in, and they don't have that anymore. However, they've got a lot of good parameters here. But there's one thing I want to show you, because this is kind of new. Connections of. Let's find, well, let's say I want to find connections of Leslie. So I'm going to start typing in Leslie, and let's see. Oh my gosh, Leslie, are we? Oh, there we go. Okay, I knew we were connected. All right, so there's Leslie. So I've got there connections of Leslie in the greater Chicago area. Let's say who is a librarian, and we don't want to specify which library. We're just looking for librarian. Now, when I type something in one of these, I have to click onto another field, because as you can see right now, there we go. When I clicked, that the number of parameters updated to 3. If I had not clicked anywhere, that librarian would not have registered. Okay, but now it is. I've got all my search criteria in there, and when I apply it, here we go. So now you can see all of these people are second degrees to me because they're first degrees of Leslie, and this is a great way. So if so the way that I have my clients use this, if my client is let's see, let's say that my client is an IT professional and wants to network with other IT professionals and wants me to be the person who makes an introduction or something, I'll say do a search for my connections who are IT professionals. That's exactly how they would do it. They would get this entire list, and then they can start sending messages saying, hi. Well, in this case, let's say I was looking to network with librarians. I'd be able to click on Christine or Gretchen or Denise, Drea, and be able to say, hi, you and I both know Leslie. She told me that you and I should connect and talk about future presentations. I'm more than happy to talk whenever you have a free minute, whatever it is, something like that. But this is a great way to find people who are directly connected to other people. And this is what networking is all about. So I think this is a really smart addition on LinkedIn's part. This one gets a thumbs up from me. All right, so let's get out of this. Now, the other thing, let me go back. Okay, so let me clear. All right, so now I cleared out all the filters, click on here and start from scratch again. Let's see. And, oh, you know what? This is not where okay, so what I want to show you now is going back in just a regular search. There we go. Okay, so now I just got back to the regular search, and let's see about searching for specific jobs. All right, so what I did was just scroll down and clicked on jobs. This automatically takes us to the search function in the jobs portal. LinkedIn's jobs portal is fantastic. I think I use it more than Indeed and Career Builder and you know, all the others. For me, this is really the top one that's on the market now. If I were looking for a job, I'll tell you the majority of my time, my online time, would be spent in LinkedIn. I really wouldn't have to go to too many other external websites. Uh, so if you're looking for a specific type of job, you can get there, go through the jobs portal, or do the search under jobs. Like I said, it brings you up to this, and then you can just start putting in your search parameters. Okay, you can save these, you can apply directly. Word of caution, if you are going to apply directly through LinkedIn for a job, make sure that your profile is updated. Make sure that every section is completed, that you're about, you know, really nice, interesting, that attention grabber. Because when you apply through LinkedIn, everybody who's on the other side of that application, one click and they're at your profile. Okay, so make sure that you update your profile before you start using the LinkedIn jobs portal. All right, so now I think that's possibly what I wanted to show you for that. Now, LinkedIn business pages, because we are, you know, talking about different business pages. Let's see, go to companies here. I don't know what to say about LinkedIn business pages. I think that LinkedIn is trying to really breathe some new life into them. There was a time when, well, there was a number of years where people really didn't use them anymore. They were kind of dying a slow death. I hate to say that. I have one with Resume Day, and I don't really use it all that much. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I use my main page for my business. And I think that that's kind of, a lot of people are kind of going that way. But again, it is free real estate that LinkedIn is giving you. So you might as well use it and, you know, just see if it works out for you. Among my business network, and when we are able to talk again, Leslie, I'd be interested to know if you've had people say the same or differently, but yeah, I wish people used LinkedIn business pages more than they do, but they don't. And I think that's why businesses have kind of stopped investing a lot of time into making sure they're updated. I do see some good ones though. Every once in a while, I do see some good ones. But if you are, if you're a sole proprietor, or, you know, one person, freelance contract or whatever, chances are you're going to be using your main page, your personal page, in support of your business. Okay, and I know that's, at least that's what's worked for me, and that's what people in my network are also saying. So I'm not getting a lot of push for the business pages anymore. I hope they come back, and I think that there are things that LinkedIn can do to make that happen, some features that would be great, but they're just not quite there yet. So let's see. Every once in a while, here, let's do this. Let's go to my network. All right, so my connections, here we go. Every once in a while, and this hasn't happened for a long time, which is really nice to hear, but you'll get someone who connects with you, and then you find out later, well, maybe they were just spamming, or that's going to happen on LinkedIn every once in a while. So fortunately, all of these people are perfectly lovely, professional. I enjoy being connected with all of them, but let's say, only because she would never do anything like this, but let's say Jennifer, my good friend Jennifer. Let's say she started spamming people and I found out that she really was on LinkedIn for nefarious reasons and I had to get rid of her. Okay. Again, Jennifer, love you. I know that I'm comfortable using you as this example because it's so not you. But here's how you remove someone. You go to My Network, find whomever it is that you need to remove, and click on these three buttons and remove connections. I'm not going to. But that's how you get rid of someone. And again, I think it's just important. You know, everyone should know how to do this, and hopefully you won't have to. All right. Let's see. Now, I want to go. Oh, let me go back to mine. View profile. Bye, John. All right, so there's a new feature that LinkedIn, oh gosh, this is really just a couple weeks old, I believe. But it's pretty cool. They now have, and this kind of falls under inclusivity and diversity, which I absolutely love. And I love that LinkedIn is really promoting this. See this little sound horn kind of thing? I don't know if I play it, I don't know if anyone will be able to hear it or not. Let's try. All right, so I don't know if you could hear that because it came through my speakers, um, but I didn't have to upload any additional apps or or software or anything like that. You can record you saying speaking your voice so that people know how to pronounce your name, which I think is really great. You know, LinkedIn is global. It is absolutely global. And the last thing that I ever want to do is mispronounce someone's name. And so this has been a lifesaver a couple times. So I would encourage everyone to do this just so it becomes the norm. Yeah, in the in the spirit of inclusivity, I think this is a really, really good addition. Now let's go to, I have a lot of people asking me if LinkedIn Premium is worth it. It's difficult for me to say. I'm not a job seeker and I run my business, I do a lot of business through LinkedIn, but I haven't had to upgrade to any of the premium accounts, but I can show you how to get there. Couple different ways. All right, so oh, and there you go. Create a company page. Look at this. It's buried. It's buried on the absolute bottom. So they're not really even pushing people to create those. And actually, I think they moved this. So it's got to be under here now. Okay. So this is what I'm looking for. And you're going to see this. Try premium free for 1 month. You're going to see these scattered around a couple different places because again, there's always more than one way to get to somewhere in LinkedIn. So let's click on this, and I will very briefly go over the different programs. Let's see. I don't need to take their little survey. I'm just going to click on See All Plans. All plans. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so these are the different plans that LinkedIn has available to you. And career, business, and sales. These are the most common. If you are looking to hire people for your company, we'll click on that one in a little bit. But the career, the most basic one, looking at the options here, stand out and get in touch with hiring managers. It does give you a little bit more direct access to hiring managers and recruiters. See how you compare to other applicants. That can be useful just as a kind of like a gut check to make sure that you have you've got your keywords all filled out, you've got all your skills and all that good stuff on there. There are other ways, if you know that you've got a good profile, that you've got all the right keywords and everything, this may not be the most valuable feature to you. Learn new skills to advance your career. So LinkedIn now owns Lynda. Lynda is Lynda. It's an online learning platform that is absolutely fantastic. Their classes are great. LinkedIn owns them and they give you discounted rates. Here's a little tip, and I'm sure Leslie is just like champing at the bit for me to say this. With a library card, you can actually access, I believe, all of Lynda's classes for free. And these are high level classes. So this is a really valuable thing that most every single library offers. So if you're looking, what I'm saying, don't pay the LinkedIn premium to have access to Lynda. because you can get free access to Linda without paying anything. But for the features that you do get for job seekers or for having a couple more features in LinkedIn, here's how much it is. Where's the small print? There we go. $30 a month. Now, to me, that's a pretty big investment. I have not made that investment. But for people who are job seekers, usually the plan is, well, I'll do it for maybe 3 or 4 months. Again, remember, your first month is free. So during that free month, use it as much as you can to really get a good idea that by the time they do charge your credit card, because they're asking for that up front, by the time they charge your credit card, make sure that it is something that you know that you're going to use and that it's worth the money. So here are all the features for that. And again, this is what you get for $30 a month. Oh, and then here's a little bit of, a little bit of feature there. So upgrade as a business owner, find and attract the right people. These could be employees, they could be business partners, promote and grow your business, and then learn new skills to enhance your professional brand. Again, that's access to Linda. So if we're going to select that one, this one jumps up to $48 a month. You get a couple of more in-mail messages, which means you can directly message people that you aren't connected with. Unlimited people browsing. Yeah. So LinkedIn used to have unlimited people browsing at no charge. And then when they decided they really wanted to monetize LinkedIn, they took away some of those nice freebies and they're monetizing them now. So that's something that every once in a while, I'll get a message from LinkedIn that says, you're about to go over your limit on people browsing and you can't look up any more people this month. So, which is a shame because I'm on LinkedIn all the time. Yeah, and then here's that you can see your profile and all that good stuff. But it's $48 a month. It's it's just an investment that you have to weigh and see if that's right for you. Now this next one in sales, this one gives you a couple of, if you're a business owner, there are a couple of decent features for here. Are they ones that you could replicate elsewhere? Possibly. But you get more in-mails, you get different lists and databases and things like that. And this one is $65 a month. I'm cheap. I'm not making that investment in this. And if I really want all this stuff, I'll try to find a back door to it. And then this next one, this last one, hiring, this is for recruiters. So recruiters, most of the recruiters that I know, certainly executive recruiters, have this program, and this is how they find their candidates. And boy, recruiters can drill down who they want to find to the finite details, which is again why it's important to have a completed profile on LinkedIn. So for this one, the recruiters, $140 a month. So they're paying pretty good money to find the best candidates. So there you go. So like I said, a lot of people ask me if it's worth it or not. I can't say because, depends on what you'll get out of it. It depends on how you use it. If you use all the features and you realize that you are making connections that you wouldn't have before, or getting in front of recruiters, or you've got a lot more employers that are connecting with you, and you see that more and more people are looking at your profile, well, maybe that is that's a good return on investment for you. But at least you have a free month to try it out and figure it out. Okay. Let's see. Next, let me get out of this. Back to LinkedIn. And back to my profile. There we go. So LinkedIn does have a help section where if you don't know how to do something, you can go into LinkedIn and they will answer it for you. In my experience, it's written very dry and does not kind of take into consideration real world issues and blocks that people may have. Like their answer, their answers just kind of assume that everything is okay. But when we have a problem on LinkedIn, things aren't okay because things aren't working. And so to me, the help on LinkedIn is not the best. Here's my kind of hack for that one. I go outside of LinkedIn. Anytime I want to know anything about LinkedIn, I actually just ask Google. So I'll pull up a Google page. I just had to do this this morning for a client. So just open here. Let me close this one out. Yeah, just type in a Google page. Earlier I was looking at some new features. What is the Electoral College? Yes, I actually was trying to explain it to someone. Here we go. How to set up badges on LinkedIn. He had earned a couple of certifications through his industry, and I thought I knew, but I wanted to make sure. So I actually just how to set up badges on LinkedIn, looked and said, okay, that's how you do it. Then we went back and I showed him how to go into add a profile section and license and certifications. And that's exactly what he was looking for. Boom, done. So like I said, whenever I have any question on LinkedIn, I go to Google. I'm going to get much better. Actually, let me see if that was through, and that wasn't even through LinkedIn. So every once in a while, when I do click on an answer and it's the right one, I'll look and it's like, oh, that's actually from LinkedIn's help thing. Google took me there. More often than not, I'll tell you the answers are outside of LinkedIn. And what I really love about looking at Google for answers is the people are actually talking about, like I said, a lot of, when you need help, it's because something isn't going right. And I I can get people who really understand that rather than a dry manual, right? Um, let's see now. A couple more things on LinkedIn here that um, it really is a benefit to you to connect with as many people as you can. Your LinkedIn experience is completely different if you have 100 connections or 1,000 connections or 500 connections. The more connections you have, and then the more you use other parts of LinkedIn, like posting things on the homepage, responding to people when they post things, using the different portion, the sub pages of LinkedIn, like the jobs portal, things like that. The more you use LinkedIn and the more connections you have, the more things you're actually going to see on LinkedIn. They're going to show you more things. Namely, this really is important in the jobs portal. So I have 3,500 or so connections. When I'm helping my clients look for jobs, I'll do a quick search and they'll do the same on their computer, and invariably I'll always be looking at more job leads for them than they're seeing themselves. And it's because they have, maybe they're just starting out on LinkedIn, or they haven't really used it ever until they needed it for this job search, and they've got 100 or so connections. Well, start beefing up those connections and you will be able to see more things like jobs. And for me, if I was a job seeker, I'd want to see every single opportunity available. So, and I know a lot of people don't like hearing that. Well, that's not fair. Why would they keep, it's like, well, it's their sandbox. It's their sandbox. That's their rules. If you're going to use LinkedIn, they kind of set those rules a little bit. So like it or not, it does, it does work in your favor to build up your connections. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about is and actually I hope I hope she won't mind. And I just saw this, one of my connections, there we go, Diana. Lovely person. So Diana has this, which is LinkedIn's newest feature, brought on by COVID, actually, this open to work banner. Okay. I have mixed thoughts about this. So I'm going to go back to my profile because I want to show you how you can get it if you want it. But this is what we're talking about, this open to work banner. Now, if you do want it, then this is, let's see, which one is it? I think it's under additional information. No, It's under, oh, intro. I think it's under intro. I'm not going to click because if I'm wrong, but I promise you it's under something in there. But here's how I feel about this. Right now with the pandemic, you know, obviously there's so many more people that are out of work. And I think that in times like these, employers are willing to put aside their biases, because everybody is out of work, right? However, in normal times, it's proven that employers want to hire people who are already working. So there is discrimination against people who are unemployed, and this is just true. I have a couple of recruiters who will call me up saying, "Hey, Lauren, do you have any what administrative assistant candidates?" "Oh, yes, I do." "Okay, just make sure that everyone you send me that they're already working." It's this awful feeling of, if they're not working, there could be a reason, and I don't want that headache. It's just so awful. And I always try to sneak people in who aren't working. But they keep calling me, so apparently it works. So, COVID, obviously, this is just changing all the rules. But when things are back to normal, whatever that may look like, I never recommend that people look like a job seeker on LinkedIn because of, again, this discrimination that I know goes on. So I don't recommend that badge. I don't right now. I don't think it's going to hurt you all that much, but in normal times, it very well might. So that's just something I want people to think about. Whatever you need to do, make yourself look employed, even if you just became a consultant to do the type of work that you're looking to do. There's nothing stopping anybody. Let's say that it's an administrative assistant looking for work. Well, there's nothing stopping this person from calling up someone who owns a business. It could be a friend of theirs. The business could be a very small business. It could be, I don't know, selling Mary Kay. Do you need any letters typed? Do you need a database created? Do you need sales calls made? I can do that. And in the process of that, update your LinkedIn profile to reflect this self-employment, this business that you're now running. Whatever it is to show that you currently have some kind of gig going on. And by the way, starting a company is a job. Your company doesn't start the moment you get clients. So creating a company is viable work. Okay, so however you want to take that, just like I said, it's just in everyone's best interest on LinkedIn, to show that they've got a gig. All right. Yeah, so I hope that this kind of, for business owners, the business pages, I wish I loved them more. I really do. Um, I think that they work for bigger businesses like Motorola and Forbes and, larger businesses. I think that they're the ones who are benefiting from business pages, but smaller people, sole proprietors, people new in business, one person shops. That's what I'm going to encourage you to use your personal LinkedIn page for that business building. All right. That's what I did with Resume Day. And it's worked out well. So, all right. So when you do get the handout, you're going to see just about everything that we went through. And then the second page, I have a little checklist that kind of goes through some of the more important things. And so if you follow through, once you get through checking everything off, you are pretty much assured that you've got a good, complete, well-rounded profile. Hopefully one that, again, conversational tone, rounded out with some human elements, some interesting little tidbits about you. Here, I'll show you on mine, in my About page. Here's all 2,000 characters. See, even I do this too. So, and I'll tell you the benefit of it. So the first thing, I adopt my pets from shelters. See, here, come here, Gemma. Here's my little Gemma, if you haven't met her yet, but she came from a shelter in Kentucky. Yes. So I can't tell you how many times the phone will ring and someone will say, yeah, I saw you on LinkedIn. I'm looking for a resume writer. Oh, great. Well, tell me about it. And then the person will say, well, I'm calling you because I too adopt all my pets from shelters, and I just thought that was really great, and I loved seeing that. Oh, really? What do you have? Do you have dogs, cats? What? And I've got 2 dogs, and so we're talking and chatting, about our dogs, and I've even like received pictures of people's dogs and sent them pictures of mine and everything. And then 10 minutes later, it's like, hey, you need a resume. Let's talk about that. And now we're talking as friends. It completely creates a different conversation than would have ever happened if I didn't have that information on my profile. I love having those types of conversations. So it's worked out really well. A couple others, my husband has a mohawk. I love, love, love a semicolon. My favorite author, my favorite words, my least favorite words. So again, just rounding that out, and I can't tell you how many times these little things creep up into the conversations. Oh, I saw that you're a welder. What's that about? It's like, hey, let's talk for a little bit. So again, just rounding out your profile with some human elements is a great way to go. And people on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn has proven it themselves with their market research, people are looking for the more human aspect of who you are rather than just your resume. Okay. Uh, so that's what I've got for you. Leslie, are there any questions or comments or any follow-up here?
We sure do. So we had one question earlier asking again about the handout and the recording. I will send you the recording as soon as marketing has uploaded it to YouTube, and we'll include the handout in the same email, so we're not spamming you. And the recording will live on our YouTube channel as well. So if you can't find the link later, just go to the Addison Library's YouTube channel. You'll be able to find it. Lauren did touch on Lynda. Most libraries no longer subscribe to Lynda because they changed their requirements, and you are now required to have a LinkedIn account in order to access Lynda, and that does not mesh well with our privacy, our thoughts on privacy. So we offer a similar service called Udemy, as well as Gale courses. So some libraries will have LinkedIn.
There are a couple out there. Thank you. And I didn't know that, Leslie. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna change the information I give, because I had no idea that happened. Did that happen during COVID, I'm guessing?
I want to say it was probably before COVID, maybe right at the end of last year of
okay
2019, but so much has changed since then. But that, it doesn't match well with how we feel about patrons' privacy. So
okay.
But Udemy is very similar. So anyone here can show you how to use that if you're interested. And then we do have one question. How many keywords should we include to beat the algorithm on our profile when applying to jobs?
Well, there is not a set number. Okay, there's not a set. There just is not a set number. What I recommend, whether it's on your resume or your LinkedIn profile, find all the keywords that you can and pepper them in. So not only your skills and endorsements, I want to say that that you can have 99. I hope I'm right about that. I knew this and now I'm thinking conflicting information here. Let me see if it actually says. Well, I don't want to keep scrolling. I'm going to make people seasick here. I want to say that you can add up to 99 skills in the skills and endorsements. But again, don't just use that section. So your headline, the about, the summary section, your career history, all of them should have those same keywords as much as possible, and others if possible. So just, I don't know how to say this any differently except use as many keywords and all the keywords that you need to tell your absolute best, highest level, most marketable story. But there's no magic number for that.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other questions? I don't see any in the chat or in the Q&A, but if you have one, feel free to drop it in there.
I'm coming back. LinkedIn changes. Every once in a while I'll log on and something's completely different than it was yesterday. So, they do make these little changes, but if you're not if you're not like a real heavy LinkedIn user, just jump into it little by little. Again, you're not going to break LinkedIn. That's my promise to you. So try a little bit of everything, see what works for you. But the more you use it, the more comfortable you'll become with it. And it's been, I've been on it since 2004, I think, and I can't tell you the business building that I've gotten from it, keeping in touch with connections, all sorts of good stuff. So I'm obviously a fan.
Well, I don't see any more questions in the moment, but if you have them, please, Lauren's contact information will be when we pass out the handout. So you can reach out to her, you can always reach out to the library. We will happily connect you with whoever can answer your question. Well, thank you so much, Lauren, and thank you all for joining us.
Oh, Jody, you've got something?
Oh, go ahead.
No.
So I like on LinkedIn, I like to friend people who are in a related field or a field that I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Should I be putting a personal message when I send the connection? I feel like I'm not creepy to do just a out there, we've never met, we have no reason to know each other, but I'm interested in you, I'm interested in what you're doing, I work in a related area.
100%. Yes.
Put a personal message to people.
You know what? You know what's creepy, Jody? What's creepy is no message. Just like, okay, how did this person come across me, and why on earth do they want to connect with me? That's creepy. So just a really quick, nice, hey, I'm doing some exploration in this industry. Your profile popped up. I absolutely love it. Don't want to bug you now, but down the road, if I have one or two questions about the industry, would you mind if I dropped you a quick message from time to time? Either way, best success to you. And again, I really like your profile. Just something like that.
Or if they choose to connect, then say, hey, thank you for that.
Yes.
This is why I requested. I mean, you can always, it's like writing a thank you note. It's never really too late.
Well, I actually think of it as like including a cover letter with your resume. You have to, unless your uncle owns the company, you have to send a cover letter with your resume, right? Unless unless I'm connecting with a client when we're on the phone for the purposes of me seeing his or her, you send a message every time. So yes, thank you so much for getting me to clarify that. Send a message with every connection request.
But to go for it, I feel like I just go for it. I'm a world music person, so I search world music and I find people that are in that similar thing. And I'm like, okay, so I'll say it. I didn't include a message on the requests that I sent yesterday. And I was like, but if they look at my profile, they'll know why I'm sending it.
So I get those requests too with nothing. And then I have to kind of play, Inspector Gadget and look at and say, okay, did this person attend one of my courses? No, they're not in this area, whatever. It's like, and I don't want to play 20 questions to figure out why you're connecting with me.
Right.
So, I'm going to completely forgive you for not sending out this message yesterday, but going forward, just let people know, so almost every single day when I'm watching the news in the morning, there'll be someone will pop up that's so interesting in business or whatever. It's like, I want to connect with this person. First thing, hey, I just saw on WGN. I just saw you on NBC, whatever it is. Loved it. Loved your message. Want to stay in touch because I like following what you're saying.
And it's a little bit of a golden rule thing. It's like do unto others. So, if somebody out of the blue, I don't get offended or I don't feel creeped out if somebody just hits me up for a connection because I get it. Like I'll look and I'll be like, oh, they're another librarian or whatever. Yeah. But I think that it is that level of courtesy. So now I'm going to backpedal and try and thank everybody that I friended yesterday, probably 4 people yesterday. Because if I'm going to, if I have a person that I know that I want to connect with, I'm like, while I'm on here, I may as well just do a little searching or whatever, make the most of my time. So can I go back and find the people that I friended yesterday? Is there a
I don't know. Now, once you sent the connection, I'm not sure if you can include a message.
I know. I'll look.
So,
but I think you're right. And again, it's never too late. So I'll just be like, hey, thanks a lot for that.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. Thanks.
Thank you for, I appreciate you bringing that up. I really do. That's a good
Yeah.
topic.
No problem. All right, everybody.
Well, thank you. We always learn so much when we all talk to each
Yes.
other. So I appreciate all of your questions, and thank you so much to Lauren. I'm sure she'll be back again for some other topic. If you haven't watched her resume program, that's actually on our YouTube channel. So make sure you check that out. And hopefully we will see you all soon.